We'll be using the anchor element to demonstrate how transition works. That's it right there. And between the opening and closing anchor tags, let's have the contents to be something like swing away. You can use whatever content you feel like. That's it over there on the browser. Swing away. Now this swing away right here doesn't look cool in any way, shape or form. Let's give it some styling, a little bit of styling so that it will stand out quite well like a call to action button. For us to do that, let's give our anchor element a class name of btn. Remember, you can use whatever class name you choose to. I choose to use btn, which is short for button. Alright, with the class name of btn, we can now go over to our CSS, style this our anchor element. So a.btn. First of all, let's increase the font size to 18 pixels. Alright, that's a bit bigger now. Take away the underline beneath the anchor element or the content. We use text decoration property and set it to none. You already know that. Good. Let's give it a background color of, let's say, Dodger blue. And then some padding. Padding top and bottom 7 pixels. Padding left and right 20 pixels. Good, that's what we have on our button thus far. And let's change the color of the text on the button or the content color from black to something like white. White is #FFF or 6F. Same thing. I just noticed something. Observe, guys, when I move the cursor around, I get to notice that the button overlaps the video elements. In any case, to get this clearly, let's confirm what space this video element occupies on the browser. Let's go over and use the border property, set it to 2 pixels, solid Dodger blue. Oh yes, you can see the button actually overlaps the video elements. Might I take a moment to hint on the difference between the video itself and the video element. The video here is this MP4 file that plays, which we downloaded from the internet. But the video element, as represented by this blue border or blue perimeter, is the HTML element that contains the video file itself. Alright, I have chosen a blue border, or this is actually Dodger blue, though this is not a town hall, different from Baba blue. You can choose whatever shade of boulevard you like, your choice. Okay, fill up everything inside of the video element. We would use a property called object fit inside of the video selector. Object fit, set it to cover. Now the video file or the MP4 file fills up all the available space inside of the video element, so don't get to see that white blank space anymore. In any case, it doesn't make sense for this button to be overlapping the video. Alright, let's create some space between the button and the video. Reasonably, we can use the margin property to do that. Let's set the margin button property inside of the video selector. Margin button, let's set it to 30 pixels. Good, there's now some reasonable space between the video and the button. Actually, the core essence of this interaction we're having right now is to demonstrate how to perform transitions on our websites. Before doing that, I want to hint us or introduce us to the concept of pseudo-classes. Normally, we already are familiar with classes in CSS, and we know a class name is preceded by a full stop or a period. So the class name here is btn. So .btn shows that this anchor tag has a class of btn. Now, just the way full stops or period precedes a class name, a colon is what precedes a pseudo class. For instance, if I key in something like this is an anchor tag with a pseudo class of hover. A pseudo-class defines a special or specific state of an element. By default, all elements are in their normal state, like normal. Now, with a pseudo-class, you can define variations in state of an element. For instance, in this case, we're going to define what happens when this anchor tag is in its hover state. For instance, when we hover our cursor over the anchor tag, what happens? So let's get on with it. When the anchor tag has a hover class, this is what we want to happen. Let the background color change to violet. All right, here we go. You see that? When you hover your cursor over the button, it changes from blue to violet. You can decide to change it from blue to black, your choice. Here we go. You see that? This is transition right here. A change in state from a background color of blue to a background color of black. The transition happens so fast. We can make it slower by setting the duration at which this transition executes. So we'll go over to the parent anchor tag and set a transition duration of 1 second. See what happens. See, it now changes from blue to black slowly. That is because it takes 1 second for the transition to take effect. We could change it from 1 second to 0.5 seconds, which is half a second of 500 milliseconds. See that? But if the transition duration is 0 seconds, by default, it happens fast, which is fast. So for better user experience, you could just delay it. Yeah, so that's how transition works. Okay, the only transition property we've used right now is transition duration. There are other properties of transition we could get to use to make our website more appealing for our users to have better user experience while navigating our websites.